These are a list of items that you should never purchase from a thrift store because they have a very high chance of carrying a lot of negativity or possibly being haunted. Any sort of weapons or knives, they typically carry a lot of violent energy. You have no idea what they could have been used for in the past. The energy that they carry can be linked to past crimes or even past trauma. You can potentially start having horrible nightmares attached to these tools. Wedding dresses, you should never purchase a wedding dress for your own wedding because you're essentially carrying the same luck of that first bride. If the wedding dress is at the thrift store, the chance of it not working out is extremely high. Not to mention, when you get married, your emotions are so high that you're literally absorbing all of it. So no use wedding dresses. My mom's especially a believer of this one. Rocking chairs, any sort of antique rocking chairs, for whatever reason, they love to sit in rocking chairs and just kind of like, they are the silent carriers of restless spirits that don't have anything better to do than to sit in the chair and kind of like rock back and forth. They're a lot of times tied to grief or loneliness. So if you ever purchase a used rocking chair, just know that it's probably haunted. Any sort of old antique looking clocks. Clocks are the timekeepers of not only the living but also the dead. Not to mention, they also mark the time of someone's death. Like, you should never keep any sort of antique clocks. My mom actually had one and I had a whole thing happen with me. I could do a story time separately if you guys are interested. Any sort of antique suitcases, these especially carry a lot of energy because they are meant to store people's personal belongings, especially the ones that haven't been open in decades and you just inherit like this old suitcase. A lot of people have reported hearing like whispers or like cold spots after coming in contact or opening like an old type suitcase. There's just way too much energy around it. I highly suggest staying away from suitcases. It's pretty much just like a cautionary thing. Just know that when you buy something secondhand that used to belong to someone, it automatically runs the risk of it having any sort of attachment, because us humans, we love to get attached to like materialistic things. So always cleanse your items every time you purchase from a thrift store. A lot of times cleansing is not enough if it's like a very strong attachment. A music box, especially one of those really antique looking ones that you have to like kind of wound up in order to kind of get it going. 1 and 2, even more haunted if the mirror in it, the little tiny mirror inside of it, happens to be cracked. Stay away from those. I promise you they have some sort of attachment. Any sort of Victorian type paintings, especially when they have children within the paintings, those are, oh my God, I don't even want to like think about those. But even more so when you can see like the eyes that kind of like follow you around, like that's not your brain playing tricks on you, like that's something. Stuffed animals, especially the handmade ones, the ones that you can tell that someone put a lot of love into them when they were creating it, and a child definitely loved on them. You have no idea what ended up happening with the child or what ended up happening with the person that made the stuffed animal. There could be a lot of attachments attached to it. You don't want the residual of whatever is left. Any sort of empty jars, like mason jars or empty glass bottles, they could have been used in the past for spell work. You don't want to mess around with that stuff because you're going to essentially absorb whatever spell was done in that jar previously. Antique hair brushes, especially when you look at it, you can still sort of see like residue of hair on the brush. Stay away from it. Hair holds energy. If there was a person that was using that brush to brush their hair that was going through something traumatic, you're literally going to feel it when you go ahead and try to use that same brush. That's not the type of energy that can be washed out. Any sort of damaged religious statues, like there's a bunch of different saints. A lot of people will have like altars in their house of different saints. If you happen to come across a statue at the thrift store that has been damaged, especially if it's like cracked or whatnot, there's a reason for it. Damaged statues attract wandering spirits. A lot of people say that it is damaged because something used to live inside of it.